निज सुख लागे पापे नाही दोरे दया ही न स्वार्थ पारो निज सुख निज सुख लागे पापे नाही दोरे दया ही न स्वार्थ पारो पर सुखे दुखे सदा मिथ्याभासे पर दुख सुख करो पर सुखे दुखे सदा मिथ्याभासे पर दुख सुख करो आमार जीवन सदा पापे रत नाही को पुण्येर लेशा अमर जीवन अशेष कामना हृदय माझे मोरा क्रोधी दंभ परायणा आशेष कामना आशेष कामना हृदय माझे मोरा क्रोधी दंभ परायणा मदमत्ता सदा विषये मोहिता हिंसा गणव विभूषणा मदमत्ता सदा विषये मोहिता हिंसा गर्व विभूषणा निद्रालस्य हत सुखाय विरत अखाय उद्योगी आमी निद्रालस्य हत सुखाय विरत आकार्ये उद्योगयामि प्रतिष्ठा लागेया स्थायार प्रतिष्ठा लागेया स्थाया चरणं लोभहत सदा कामी प्रतिष्ठा लागेया सात्याचरण लोभहत सदा कामी अमर जीवन सदा पापे रत नाही तो पुण्येर लेशा एहेनो दुर्जन सज्जन वर्जित अपराधी निरंतर एहेनो दुर्जन सज्जन एहेनो दुर्जन सज्जन वर्जित अपराधी निरंतर शुभ कार्य शून्य सदनर्थ मन नाना दुखे जर जन शुभ कार्य शून्य सदानर्थ मन नाना दुखे जर जरन बार्ध्याकाये कोनो अपाय विहीनते ताते दीना किंचन बार्ध्याक्ये कोना बार्ध्याक्ये कोना उपाय विहीन ताते दीना किंचन भक्ति विनोद प्रभुर चरणे कोरे दुख निवेदना भक्ति विनोद प्रभुर चरणे कोरे दुख निवेदना अमर जीवन सदा पापे रत नाही को पुण्येर लेशा अमर जीवन सदा पापे रत नाही को पुण्येर लेशा अमर जीवन सदा पापे रत नाही को पुण्येर लेशा नाही को पुण्येर लेशा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Quickly we can read the translation.
I have never hesitated to perform sinful act for my own enjoyment, devoid of all compassion, concerned only with my own selfish interest. I am remorseful, seeing others happy. I am a perpetual liar, and the misery of others is a source of great pleasure for me.
False pride and arrogance, intoxicated by vanity and bewildered by worldly affairs. Envy and egotism are the ornaments I wear.
A vile, wicked man such as this, rejected by godly people, is a constant offender. I am such a person devoid of all good works, forever inclined toward evil, worn out and wasted by various miseries.
Submits his tale of grief at the feet of the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna. So this song is related to today's sloka. That's why I have chosen this song. So we'll see what is the verse today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatiruttamasloke bhaktirbhavati naiskiti. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye. Hare Krishna. Welcome you all for today's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class. So we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Amala Purana, from first canto, chapter 13 and text number 22. 22, right? Andaha Pura Eva Vadiraha Manda Prajnaha Cha Sampratam Vishirna Dantaha Manda Agne Saragaha Kapham Udvahan Andhapuraiva vadhiro Andhapuraiva vadhiro Mandaprajnashta sampratam Mandaprajnamscha sampratam Vishirnadanto mandhagni Vishirnadanto mandhagni Saragha kapam udvahan Saragha kapam udvahan. Please recite. Hare Krishna. Plus first seniors. Andhapuraiva vadhiro Mandapragnasta sampratam Vishirnadanto mandhagni Saraga kapamudvahan. Now you can chant. Andhapuraiva vadhiro Mandaprajnanscha sampratam Vishirnadanto mandhagni Saragha kapamudvahan. Matajis. Vishirnadanto mandhagni Saraga kapamudvahan. Andhapuraiva vadhiro Mandhapragnamscha sampratam Vishirnadanto mandhagni Saraga kapamudvahan. Word to word meaning. Andaha, blind. Pura, from the beginning. Eva, certainly. Vadiraha, hard of hearing. Mandaprajnaha, memory shortened. Cha, and. Sampratam, recently. Vishirna, loosened. Dantaha, teeth. Manda Agni, liver action decreased. Saragha, with sound. Kapham, coughing much mucus. Udvahan, coming out. Translation. You have been blind from your very birth, and recently you have become hard of hearing. Your memory is shortened and your intelligence is disturbed. Your teeth are loose, your liver is defective, and you are coughing up mucus. Please repeat the translation. You have been blind from your very birth, and recently you have become hard of hearing. Your memory is shortened, and your intelligence is disturbed. Your teeth are loose, your liver is defective, and you are coughing up mucus. Who is saying this to whom? Vidura is saying to Dhritarashtra. Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now we'll read the purport. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The symptoms of old age which had already developed in Dhritarashtra were all one after another pointed out to him as warning that death was nearing very quickly. And still he was foolishly carefree about his future. The signs pointed out by Vidura in the body of Dhritarashtra were signs of apakshaya or dwindling of the material body before the last stroke of death. The body is born, it develops, stays, creates other bodies, dwindles, and then vanishes. But foolish men want to make a permanent settlement of the perishable body and think that their estate, children, society, country, etc. will give them protection. With such foolish ideas, they become overtaken by such temporary engagements and forget altogether that they must give up this temporary body and take a new one, again to arrange for another term of society, friendship and love, again to perish ultimately. They forget their permanent identity and become foolishly active for impermanent occupations, forgetting altogether their prime duty. Saints and sages like Vidura approach such foolish men to awaken them to the real situation. But they take such sadhus and saints as parasites of society, and almost all of them refuse to hear the words of such sadhus and saints. Although they welcome show bottle sadhus and so-called saints who can satisfy their senses. Vidura was not a sadhu to satisfy the ill-gotten sentiment of Dhritarashtra. He was correctly pointing out the real situation of life and how one can save oneself from such catastrophes. Om Ajnanaतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मोर लाउडली। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। It is time to sleep, that's why I asked you to chant loudly. I mean, not everyone. Persons like me. So, Mukam karoti vachalam pangam nangayate grim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikas Swamiti Namne Hare Krishna Andapuraiva Vadhiro Mandapragnamscha Sampratam Vishirnadantho Mandhagni Saragha Kapamudvahan. Translation once more. You have been blind from your very birth, and recently you have become hard of hearing. Your memory is shortened and your intelligence is disturbed. Your teeth are loose, your liver is defective, and you are coughing up mucus. Hare Krishna. Before starting, I'll request everyone, all the Vaishnavas who are here, to please bless me so that I can speak something from this purport, from the purports of Srila Prabhupada, and whatever I have heard from my senior devotees, senior Vaishnavas. So this verse, purport, like this purport, only Srila Prabhupada can write such purport. Make it clear that what is the purpose of life actually. There are so many commentators of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, they will divert the topic. They will directly enter into Krishna's personal pastimes. They won't discuss all these things. Directly they want the highest, topmost spiritual bliss. But that is not so easy to get. Before one should understand, before that one should understand, who are we actually, what is our status actually, what is our conditioning in this material world. First we have to understand that. Then we have to become fixed up in devotional service, nishtha. And gradually, one will come to that stage of understanding the pastimes of Krishna, which are very intimate. So we can see in this verse, Vidura, who is now in a renounced order. Now he is completely gave up all his duties. He is renounced basically. He is now a sadhu who came to Hastinapura, to Dhritarashtra, especially to help Dhritarashtra to come out of his attachment. As I said in my last class also, Dhritarashtra means very strongly attached to his body, his place of birth, his relations. He was so attached, we know he was so attached to Duryodhana. Duryodhana, he is committing so many atrocities to Pandavas, but still he was silent. He was not like stopping him, or he has such affection to him. He wanted only Duryodhana to be the king. Many times, for all his atrocities, he was supporting him. He took control of Bhishma. He took control of Dronacharya, who were completely favorable to Pandavas. So he made, because he was the king, so Duryodhana, he literally played with the king, who is Dhritarashtra, who is his own father. So he played a game. It was a complete game to get control of everything. Get control of Bhishma, but get control of Dronacharya. So it was complete game he played. And he was so much attached to his sons. And now time is over. Everything has gone. All his sons gone. Kingdom also was taken charged by Yudhishthir Maharaj. And now we know when after the Kurukshetra war, the Pandavas, they come to Hastinapur, back to Hastinapur along with Krishna. You know how Dhritarashtra, how he, because Bhima, he killed all the sons of Dhritarashtra, so he had such a such a anger towards Bhima. He calls Bhima. He calls Bhima. For what he calls Bhima? I want to embrace you. Actually, they go to him to take his blessings. That now everything is done, so let us now rule a virtuous rule, dharmic rule now. Now enough is enough. They came to take blessing, and Dhritarashtra calls him. I want to embrace you, because you killed all my sons. No, he want to embrace Bhima. So Bhima comes. What Krishna understands the situation, how much anger he is in. Krishna, of course, he is a Paramatma. He knows what is the intention of Dhritarashtra. So Duryodhana, he had one iron model, a doll made similar to Bhima. So he had such a grudge on Bhima that every time when he gets anger on Bhima, he takes his club and he goes to that iron doll and he used to bang it. He has such a anger. So Krishna says, you get that statue of Bhima and send to embrace Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, his arms were so much powerful. He got blessings from Vyasadeva, I think Vyasadeva. 100 elephants power he has in his hands. So if he can easily crush Bhima. If he embraces Bhima, easily he would have crushed Bhima. His bones. So Krishna understood this. Dhritarashtra is powerful than Bhima. So he sends this iron statue of Bhima and he embraces that. Then later his anger gets pacified. Then he understands, now I have to give up. So now after everything, now he is still, after this he should feel ashamed actually. He should feel ashamed because the rule he is overtaken by Yudhishthira Maharaj, Pandavas, and now still he is under the care of Pandavas now. He is under the care of Pandavas. He is getting feed and he is getting everything. Even in this stage he is still there only. He is so much attached to the place. So you can see in this verse, Attapuraiva vadhiro. Vidura says to him, he comes to him and he says that you have been blind from your very birth. He is saying, you Dhritarashtra, from very birth you are blind. And with somehow or other you became king. And you tried to destroy the dharmic rule. At least now you give up. At least now you have to renounce. Not that you stay here and take the pleasure of the kingdom, the palace, the food which is offered. Kings, they eat Raj Bhog. At least now you give up this. You are in an old age. And recently you have become hard of hearing. Old age means, we know when we go out for book distribution, if devotees, if they go to house, sometimes I have an experience. I was distributing books in Tamil Nadu, house to house. So old people sometimes, nobody will be there. Children, they will all be, outside. These days, women also is working. So husband, wife, both of them, they go out for working. Children, they go to schools and colleges. Only the old people are at home, watching TV, spending their retired life, so-called retired lives. So they sit and nicely watch TV, and there will be some something cooked. Maid will be there. She will make nicely. They will sit in the front of TV, eat samosa, enjoy their time. So when we knock their door, all these old people they come out, and we ask them to take Bhagavad Gita. When we show Bhagavad Gita, when we are speaking something, they put their hand like this. Huh? Huh? They can't hear. And they're always, mucus is always coming out from their nose. They can't control it. Liver is damaged. All these symptoms of old age are here. You can see Vidura is explaining here. Your memory is shortened. Memory will be shortened in the old age. Some people they say, now I don't have time. Now I have so many responsibilities. Now I have to take care of my family. I have a good job, good earning job. I have a good name. So I don't have time for reading Bhagavad Gita. You please go to someone else. I don't have time. I don't have time to chant Hare Krishna. I'm sorry. People they say sometimes. At the young age, as Srila Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumara Macharet Pragna Uddharman Bhagavataniha Durlabha Manusha Janma. People can't understand this. At young age, everything is fine. Your body is fine, intelligence is fine. Everything is easier. In the young age, if you take up to bhakti, it's more easier in the old age, actually. Old age will be like more blissful because you give up family, you take up vanaprastha life, and engage in. If they are devotees, you can see old people, they are engaged in preaching. They sometimes we see old devotees, they go out for book distribution also, or they engage in temple services. They will get a nice opportunity actually, but unfortunately people are so dull-headed. That is a symptom of Kali Yuga, right? Prayan alpayusha sabdya kalo asmin yuge jana mandas sumanda matayo manda bhagyo hi pradrta. Their intelligence is very less. People intelligence is very less, so they can't understand. If you approach them, immediately they say, no, I'm sorry, I don't have time. I don't have time for spiritual life because I have so many material responsibilities. So, and they can't realize that death is approaching them. What they do, when their birthday comes, they nicely celebrate very grandly. Very nicely they enjoy their birthday. But what is birthday? If you finished your 20 years, it means that 20 years you died already 20 years. 20 years you already died, and that they are celebrating nicely. Usually devotees also they celebrate. Why they celebrate? Because they celebrate because they are serving the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Because they are devotees, so they are pleasing the Lord. They are praying to the Lord that thank you for accepting me and giving birth on this day. So so in that way devotees celebrate. Of course, celebrating birthday is not recommended anywhere in the Shastra. That is a Western culture, cutting cakes and all this. Traditionally in the Vedic culture, nobody used to celebrate birthdays. They used to just go to temple. They used to spend time in the temple, or like that, something like that. Anybody remembers their old days, celebrating birthdays, like in the modern days, Prabhuji? You are elderly person. You have any idea? Never. See, usually, there was no celebration, but this is a Western culture of celebrating. So, what was I saying? I missed the point. Huh? Yeah. If you don't understand the purpose of life, then at the young age, old age will be very, very miserable. Hmm. If you enjoy your life in the young age, the old age you have to suffer a lot. Suffer a lot. Happiness in the young age is like nectar. But in the old age it will become like poison. And death is approaching. Any moment death can finish off. As sure as death. Any moment it may take us away. So Dhritarashtra, now he is in this precarious condition, as Vidura is explaining. So his intelligence is shortened, is disturbed, and your intelligence is disturbed. We see old people are, they are frustrated because whole life, how they spend their whole life, gratifying the senses of the family, gratifying their own senses, enjoying their life, so-called material life, and the old age, because that was not satisfying. In the old age, the happiness which we are getting was not satisfying them, and they are frustrated in the old age. They are always disturbed. Immediately they get anger. That's why they get this high blood pressure. Immediately their BP get raised, and immediately they become very angry. They can't think. They can't use their intelligence. They are frustrated because they enjoy their material life. Because they already enjoyed their material life, so now in their old age they are frustrated. Your teeth are loosened. Old age is difficult. You can't enjoy ice creams. You can't enjoy sweets. You can't eat pakoras. Immediately your teeth will break. Teeth will get loosened. Liver is defective. You are coughing up mucus. So these are the symptoms of old age. So you can see the wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada starts his purport by saying, the symptoms of old age, which had already developed in Dhritarashtra, were all one after another pointed out to him as warning that death was nearing very quickly. And still he was foolishly carefree about his future. So we should not become another Dhritarashtra. We should not become another Dhritarashtra. We should not carefree. Now, in the old age, now I can sit at home, spend my time with my daughter-in-law, son-in-law, and their children, grandchildren, and nicely I can spend my time. Without any spiritual life, without any spiritual thought. They think there is no death actually. Actually, old age is suffering, but for the conditioned soul, even in the body of old age, is trying to search out happiness in different ways. They are attached to their home, attached to their children, even at the old age, attached to their grandchildren. We know story of Ajamila from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. He was a Brahmana. Somehow or other, he was a pure Brahmana, Vedic Brahmana. Somehow or other, he goes to the forest to get some firewood for the sacrifice. And he sees a prostitute embracing a Sudra. And what happens? He started meditating on that prostitute. And at last he approaches that prostitute. He leaves his own wife, he leaves his father, he leaves his family, and he get married to this prostitute and beget 10 children from that prostitute. And in the old age, what does he do? He was attached. He was still attached to his children. His younger son, name was Narayana. And luckily, because he was a Brahmana in the young age, luckily he kept his son's name, because some sadhus also they approach. Sadhus, they go out for preaching. So like that, to his home, some sadhu has come, and when his son was young, he kept his name as Narayana. So at the time of death, luckily, at the time of death, because his son's name was Narayana, so he called out. When Yamadutas came, he saw Yamadutas at the time of death. Yamadutas came to take him away. So he sees that Yamadutas are approaching him, and immediately he calls out his younger son's name, because he was too much attached to his son. Luckily, that's why in India, people are very lucky, because they keep their children name after God's name. They keep Krsna, Rama, Narayana, so many names. The Krishna has unlimited names. Like that, in India, people are very fortunate to have names after the Supreme Lord. So at least in that way, they can call out Hare Krishna. At least in that way, they can call out the names of the Lord. So luckily, Ajamila got liberated. Ajamila got called the name of the Lord, Narayana, and he was saved by Vishnu Dutas. But unfortunately, in the modern age, even in India, in the current scenario, people sometimes because they are following the Western culture, so they are keeping the names, some useless names, Kintu, Bintu, or some without any without any meaning also. All these names in the West they keep for the pets. All these names they are using for their children. So unfortunate situation. So here, the signs pointed out by Vidura in the body of Dhritarashtra were signs of apakshaya, or dwindling of the material body before the last stroke of death. The body is born, it develops, stays, creates other bodies, dwindles, and then vanishes. But foolish men want to make a permanent settlement of the perishable body and think that their estate, children, society, country, etc. will give them protection. So, here Srila Prabhupada says that foolish men in this world, foolish conditioned soul, foolish jiva, thinks that I will never die. I am permanent. I will never die. We can see, even in the old age sometimes, I heard from a senior devotee that it happened in Tamil Nadu. So every day near the college entrance, every day he used to go out for book distribution. So when the students leave from the college, every day he saw a few old people just sitting opposite to the college gate. Why they are sitting? Because from the college, after the college is over, many students, they come out. Even young girls, they come out. So they are sitting there and they're watching these young girls coming out from the college. So even in the old age, the propensity for enjoying is not gone. You see, even in the old age, even the jiva in the old body thinks that the conditioned jiva in the old body thinks that how I can enjoy now, how I can enjoy, how I can satisfy my senses. He is attached to his children, to the society, to his house. They are very much attached to their home. We see old people, they always keep their, regularly open their documents. They're so much attached that in the present times, old people, even after before 10 years, people have some idea. No, I'm going to die. At least I will give this property to my children. I will transfer the property on my children's name. In the present times, old people are so attached to their property that they never do that. They will not transfer the properties to their children's names. Only if he dies, then the property goes to their children. Then they can transfer the property. You see, so much attached to the property, children, country, and they think there is no technology is there. We can also do heart transplantation. I can live somehow or other. I can manage to live. I can gratify my senses more. So this is how the conditioned jiva in the body of in the old body thinks. This is what Srila Prabhupada says. Yeah. Overtaken by such temporary engagements and forget altogether that they must give up this temporary body and take a new one, again to arrange for another term of society, friendship and love, again to perish ultimately, they forget their permanent identity and become foolishly active for impermanent occupations, forgetting altogether their prime duty. Saints and sages like Vidura approach such foolish men to awaken them to the real situation, but they take such sadhus and saints as parasites of society. And almost all of them refuse to hear the words of such sadhus and saints. So when we approach such people, they'll have lots of money, whole life. They work so hard to earn their property, to earn their name, fame. Whole life they spend to have all this, and they'll get attached to that. And when devotees, when the sadhus, saints, they go and approach them, they think they are just time-wasting fellows. They're just parasites. Parasites means they are just living their livelihood under some means. Somebody is taking care of them. What they can tell to me, what they can give it to me. They can't do anything for me. They think they are just some unwanted people, and they refuse. Easily they refuse such people, saints and sadhus. Devotees have experience, right? When we go and approach old people, if they are somewhat spiritual, if we try to awaken them, immediately their false ego will get disturbed and immediately they shout on us. It happened to me when I was distributing books. One old man, he came out of the house and I showed him Bhagavad Gita. And from the house itself, he was sitting in the home, he was sitting on the sofa. Obviously, he is watching a television, and sitting on the sofa. And from the house itself, he was shouting, "Get out! I don't need you. Get out from here. You get out. I don't need anything. You get out from here." He's shouting from inside. They are immediately disturbed by seeing some devotees approaching them. If they are spiritual, At least they will welcome them, give them some water, so-called spiritual. But they say, no, I don't have time for reading Bhagavad Gita, I'm sorry. Because I still have responsibility. Some old people, they still, after retirement also, they find out some job, they find out some job and they still work. I met such people. I asked, what are you doing? I am retired. I am retired bank manager. Okay, what are you doing now? I am a consultant to so and so company, and they do even after retirement, they don't have time. So unfortunate. If devotees they approach, immediately they are rejected. Then they can't understand why they are approaching, what's happening. Even if you tell them, sir, you are going to die. No problem, I can take care. No problem. No issue, no problem. This. So, devotees like, pure devotees like Vidura, sadhus, like Narada Muni, he travels all the three worlds. All the three worlds, and he preaches Krishna consciousness. There is a story in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Puranjana story. I will read out from those verses. When Narada Muni narrates this story to whom? King Prachina Parihi. Can you open the verse, 4th canto, 27th chapter, 19th verse? So there, some slokas, some verses are related to this verse. So we'll read out from there what Narada Muni is saying. Fourth canto, 27th chapter, 19th, verse number 19. I will read the verse. Kalasya duhita kachet trilokam varamichati paryatantina barhisman pratyanandata kaschana. Can anyone read the translation? You can take the microphone maybe.
My dear King Prachin Barhisat, at this time the daughter of formidable time was seeking her husband throughout the three worlds. Although no one agreed to accept her, she came.
So here Narada Muni narrates the story of King Puranjana. And here in this verse, we can see the purport also. In due course of time, when the body becomes old and practically invalid, it is subject to jara, the suffering of old age. There are four basic kinds of suffering: birth, old age, disease and death. No scientist or philosopher has ever been able to make a solution to these four miserable conditions. The invalidity of old age, known as jara, is figuratively explained here as the daughter of time. No one likes her, but she is very much anxious to accept anyone as her husband. No one likes to become old and invalid, but this is inevitable for everyone. So no one likes to become old. No, everyone wants to become young. Everyone wants to be always young. That's why there are so many cosmetic Uh, cosmetic industry has so many products to make, wrinkles free creams and so many things. So many things in the modern cosmetic world. There are so many things. Every day there are so many new chemicals created for making people more younger. Nobody likes to become old, basically. But who is approaching? The daughter of Kalanemi is approaching. What is her name? Jara. She is approaching everyone. Please marry me, please marry me, please marry me. Everybody is saying, no, no. You are so ugly, I don't want to marry you. So Jara is approaching everyone. Even if nobody likes to get married, she will, forcibly she'll get married. Everyone, forcibly. You have to marry her. So we'll see the next verse. We'll just read the translation. The daughter of time, Jara, was very unfortunate. Consequently, she was known as Durbhaga, ill-fated. So she's ill-fated. However, she was once pleased with a great king, and because the king accepted her, she granted him a great benediction. So what Jara, daughter of Kalanemi, she does? She gives benediction if somebody accepts her. What is that benediction? She gives old age. So you can read the translation. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Sabasukha Bhagala. All kinds of happiness disappear in old age. Consequently, no one likes old age or Jara. Thus, Jara, as the daughter of time, is known as a most unfortunate daughter. She was, however, at one time accepted by a great king, Yayati. Yayati was cursed by his father-in-law, Sukracharya, to accept her. When King Yayati, when Shukracharya's daughter was married to King Yayati, one of her friends named Samishta went with her. Later, King Yayati became very much attached to Samishta, and Sukracharya's daughter complained to her father. We know this story, how King Yayati, he marries the daughter of Sukracharya, and along with her came Samishta. And he became attached with Samishta. And what Shukracharya's daughter does? She goes and complains to his father. And what happens? Shukracharya curses him to become old, prematurely old. He was young actually, but he curses him to become old. King Yayati had 5 youthful sons, and he begged all his sons to exchange the youth for his old age. No one agreed except the youngest son, whose name was Puru. Upon accepting Yayati's old age, Puru was given the kingdom. It is said that 2 of Yayati's other sons, being disobedient to their father, were given kingdoms outside of India, most probably Turkey and Greece. The purport is that one can accumulate wealth and all kinds of material opulences, but during old age, one cannot enjoy them. Although Puru attained his father's kingdom, he could not enjoy all the opulences, for he had sacrificed his youth. One should not wait for old age in order to become Krishna consciousness. Due to the invalidity of old age, one cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness, however opulent he may be materially. So Srila Prabhupada very clearly says here, at old age, it's not possible. You may say, no, I will take up Krishna consciousness in old age. I will do bhakti in old age. Now there is no time. I have to run. I have a rat race. I have to run here and there. Earn money, earn fame, name. They don't have time. But what Srila Prabhupada says here, that in the old age, one cannot become Krishna conscious. One cannot progress in Krishna consciousness, however opulent he may be materially. So this next verse, you can see, this Narada Muni is saying, when I once came to this earth from Brahmaloka, the highest planetary system, the daughter of time, wandering over the universe, met me, knowing me to be an avowed brahmachari. She became lusty and proposed that I accept her. So Narada Muni was approached by this Jara, daughter of time. No? We know that Narada Muni was cursed. Srila Prabhupada also said, because I am in the parampara of Narada Muni, so I can't stay in one place. Every 5 days or 10 days now I am traveling. So this, because Narada Muni he didn't accept the proposal of the daughter of time, Jara. So she cursed him. He was very, very young. Narada Muni, he is in spiritual body. So he was very young. So she got attracted. Narada Muni said, no, he's not. I'm not interested to get married. Then she curses. Next verse. The great sage Narada continued, when I refused to accept her request, she became very angry at me and cursed me severely. Because I refused her request, she said that I would not be able to stay in one place for a long time. So you can see the purport. The great sage Narada Muni has a spiritual body, therefore old age, disease, birth and death do not affect him. Narada is the most kind devotee of the Supreme Lord, and his only business is to travel all over the universe and preach God consciousness. In other words, his business is to make everyone a Vaishnava. Under the circumstances, there is ordinarily no need for him to stay in one place for more than the time he requires to preach. Since by his own free will, he is already traveling all over the universe. The curse of Kalakanya is described as fortunate. Like Narada Muni, many other devotees of the Lord are engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord in different places and in the different universes. Such personalities are beyond the jurisdiction of material laws. So it's a benediction actually for us sages, because they can travel to different places and make devotees. So Narada Muni says like that. Hare Krishna. So, we should not refuse the devotees who are preaching the Krishna consciousness. At least, whatever time you become Krishna conscious, at least whatever place you are approached by devotees, immediately if you accept Krishna consciousness, then our life will be successful. That is the purpose of life, because we are not permanent in this world. We have to die anytime we may die actually. Anytime this Kalakanya is approaching us, anytime. Birth is not suffering, old age is not suffering, death is not suffering. What is actually suffering? Suffering is that we are being approached by time, Kala. And anytime if a 25 years old person dies, it means that he is already old now. Even though he is in a body of a young body, if he is approached by Kalakanya, time, then he is old only. If a small boy dies, it means he is old only. So time is very short actually. Mm. Our time is very short in this world. So that's why devotees, they are very merciful. Few devotees, they are merciful. They travel everywhere and they awaken the conditioned souls. They give this Krishna consciousness. They inject this Krishna consciousness within the conditioned souls. And they awaken them to save them from this precarious condition, this dangerous condition, this material life. And they make them, they connect them to the parampara, to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, we know. And when, for devotees, another thing is that for devotees who become old, they are not much agitated, they are not much disturbed, like karmis. They are not disturbed and agitated. Devotees, they are very happy in the old age body. They are very happy, they practice the Krishna consciousness. They travel and they preach Krishna consciousness. I know Prabhupada disciples, Haripad Prabhu and Palini Mataji, they are old, but they travel everywhere. Prabhuji is a very nice Kirtaniya. Mataji along with him, they are now in their 60s. Prabhuji is in 70s. They travel everywhere and they encourage devotees and they very happily preach Krishna consciousness everywhere. So for devotees there is no much trouble. Only for non-devotees, this Kalakanya is ready. Devotees are not afraid of death. They are not afraid of death. There is no fear for them for death. Because they know that I am eternal. I am not going to die. So we should have a program to preach to people, especially who are retired, and we should give them Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We should distribute books to them. Somehow or other, if they accept Krishna consciousness, their life is saved. Saved from this material life. It's very difficult actually to old people to give up their material life, but still there may be some souls who can accept Krishna consciousness even in the old age body. I heard in Pune, ISKCON Pune, they have a program for Vanaprasthas, old people who are retired. They have a program for them, special session for them. Like yesterday we had Secret of Success program for youth. Similarly, they have programs for old people. And His Grace Radhesham Prabhu was speaking in one of his lecture that after the session, they had some yatra. They went to some spiritual place and some dham. And all of them, they became so serious. They took up Krishna consciousness so serious. Everyone took Srila Prabhupada's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And all of them, he preached them to distribute books. And most of them, they are distributing books or they are engaged in temple services, sitting in the seva office or sitting in the stall or preaching to the newcomers in the temple. So in that way they are engaged in preaching activities. They are so fortunate actually. So we can also have such programs for people who are interested in Krishna consciousness. And this way we can save the conditioned soul. That is the whole purpose, to get back this conditioned soul back to Krishna, back to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. And the rest he will take care. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You want to say something on this verse? Microphone, please.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Nice wake-up call. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. Get up off the lap of the witch called Maya. And just hear about Krishna and Vrindavan. Read Krishna book. Go through the Bhagavatam, the full literary incarnation. Every day, not just 2 pages, but as many times you can in your life to go through the 12 cantos from ISKCON to ISKCON. And get this in our database. Reprogram our database from all the nonsense and all purify the false ego and all those attachments. Just go on hearing. And what you put in, that's what you're going to come out with eventually, more and more. You put that in and that's what you connect with and see everything in relationship to Krishna. Because that is the reality. And you'll experience Him as your heart gets purified. In your heart, His presence, the strength, the inspiration of His presence, and eventually not just His potency and His power and His majesty, but you'll get purified in the sweetness. His sweetness, how much He cares for every one of us. And then we can extend that as we practice humility. It's not so easy with our raw false ego and how respectable I am. You know, and I got the tilak, and I'm a senior devotee. I'm 3 days old. I've been here more than this person, you know. And it's so ruthless, the false ego. But we got to keep our mind at Prabhupada's lotus feet, hearing, get this purification of our false ego, and practice humility. And see the nonsense of our own mind, and understand how much everybody is struggling with all of this programming that we've put for trillions of lifetimes. So many bodies, and we forget, so many dream bodies. And what is it? There's a bunch of certain type of ear, eye, nose, sense of touch grouped about the mind. Just bones and stool. And you try to cover it up with some deodorant. And that's what this is. And we're so bewildered with lust and because I'm trying to find happiness for myself instead of giving happiness and encouraging others. We get encouragement by trying to give it and to look for it, to pray for it, that we can be in the association of others and appreciate any drop of sincerity that somebody's going to come and sit in a Bhagavatam class in this criminal, you know, this is the criminal place. And we're all criminals. And trying to get free from this criminal database that we've programmed. These gunas, tamagun, rajagun, pride, lust, envy. Not like Prahlad. Not like Haridas, when he's being whipped 21 marketplaces and he finds out that the person who's whipping him is going to get punished. Oh, really? You're going to have to suffer because of me? And then he goes into samadhi. He throws him into the Ganga. And then Haridas comes conscious. And Mahaprabhu took all that whip on his back. And then how all those Muslims, they surrendered to him, recognized him as a great saint, and became surrendered so that they could go back home, back to Godhead. Seeing everyone as family, no matter what they do, what they're just disoriented. They're family, they're my family. Like when you have a brother or somebody who, that connection with your family, you're just trying to help them come back to become normal. That affection, we have to develop that affection and compassion. It doesn't come so cheaply. It's very painful. It's a painful process. And if we're not to take the treatment, we have to practice humility. It's not so easy, is it? With our IIT qualifications. And I got the job, I got the house, these developments. What do we care about the cows? We're not going to go and use a plow to follow Prabhupada's instruction. Who am I to go behind a plow? I'm a PhD, I'm an IIT, Who am I to milk the cows and to live in the village with Krishna? I'm somebody. I'm a devotee. I'm chanting my rounds. But I'm not going to go in a farm. I'm not going to live in the village with those people. I got the right British fashion, America. I'm very respectable in a society of demons. I can play the game, That's how the cheating propensity of the conditioned soul, very deep, the false ego, isn't it? We got to become honest in relationship to the Shastra, to really get a take on to diagnose, to really see. And to face it, it's very painful for the false ego to really take a good look and to really be honest with what we're feelings and thoughts. Now it's more like Hiranyakashipu. I'll get him. I got my nice flat. I know how to play the Hare Krishna game, and I won't have to go to Yamaraj. I'm very respectable. I got the tilak, the right dhoti. I know some slokas. I can talk philosophy. What's the quality of my attachment to Nanda and Yashoda and to Krishna? And to all the devotees, everyone who's cleaning the floor of the temple or cutting veg in the kitchen. Why are they doing it? I'm not doing it. And I'm taking that prasadam. How much I'm indebted to every individual who comes to the temple. There wouldn't be a temple if everybody didn't come. Everybody would just be out there in the bar or in the cinema and going to the job to get more and more money But how rare it is. But how are we feeling about the others who are coming? Oh no, he's some new devotee. I'm senior. Isn't it? I don't care for him. I don't care for the people on the street. What is the quality of our feelings, of our mind? How deep these things, our false ego, how deep we're conditioned by the modes of material nature. And how many times we keep coming back according to the quality, even in bhakti, because we're so full of pride. The beginning of taste for Krishna as the supreme sweet personality of Godhead, the beginning of attraction begins in nishta. To get through an artana vritti, all these layers of contamination that are so deeply covering us. How much are we facing the music when we see all these thoughts come in our mind? We don't want other people, we don't want to see it, we don't want to show that, we don't want to admit it to others, to get help. So we can make some advancement and root these things out. It's a very rocky road in the beginning, especially to get to nishta. And the experience that you get from practicing Trinada peace and Ichina. And you make some mistake and you go, please forgive me, Prabhu. Please accept my obeisances. My mind got the best of me. I blew it again. Well, you go back and then you, please forgive me. This forgiveness. And to forgive others and tolerate the mistakes. And seeing that they're struggling like you. And as a friend, to encourage each other. And to assist each other. Das, 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 anu das. This is the mood of Vaikunt. This is the mood of Vrindavan. With the cows. In the village. With the hal. With Balaram, with Haladar, and Krishna there with the cows and the flute. And being able to hear Krishna's flute. He knows just the right notes to attract you. Each soul, Krishna has a specific tune for every jiva in Vrindavan. But how can we become qualified to want to hear that flute? And to pray, to develop that longing to be with Krishna. Separation. In the Purvarag, before the meeting, where you culture that attachment to Krishna and his devotees, with compassion for all living beings, to come to Brahmabhuta prasanat manashochiti nakanchati samasaveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhateparam. Friend to all living beings, what does that mean? What are my feelings? What's the quality of my heart, my feelings, my thoughts? That's the mind, that's yoga. That is bhakti yoga. That connection with me to Krishna and all living beings and every aspect of the creation, seeing it in relationship to Krishna. through his agents as the demigods and his Mahavishnu and Kshirodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, like this, how you're seeing Krishna's hand, how it's working in all times, all places, in all circumstances. You're feeling his presence. And with that flute player, that's Krishna, who's there with the cows in the village. That this is the quality of our thoughts with Krishna and his pastimes. And Prahlad Maharaj with Nrsimhadev. And Ambarish with Durvasa Muni. How he was proud and he tried to kill Durvasa, and then he glorified Ambarish, and he said, "You better go back and pay obeisances because that's Sudarshan. I have no power to protect you because you offended the Vaishnava." You got to go back and pay obeisances. How we're not afraid of Maya because we're accepting Maya as our guru. Our previous programming in the name of bhakti. How much critical we are of all the other devotees who aren't on the same page with me. On my frequency. And you hang out with persons who facilitate your own false ego. Who are in the same party politics. Instead of being a friend to everyone, seeing the good in every individual and trying to be a bridge to please Prabhupada. What's the last instruction that he gave us? What was his last request, his last instruction?
I think Varnashrama. To propagate Varnashrama.
You show your love for me by how you cooperate together.
Okay.
That will include Varnashram, that will include everything. It will include the core devotees and include all living beings. But especially the core. That you want to be in the inner circle with him and those who are in there with Prabhupada. You want to get close. To become a walking database, a walking database. To see everything through his instructions. To please him. And those who are, then you can come close with those who are in that mode. And appreciate them. To help give you practical guidance and instruction how you can improve in your purpose to fulfill this instruction, to become that quality. That is Vrindavan. And those who are in the inner circle with him to become like that and nothing less. That we can't settle for anything less. To become Prabhupada quality as our shiksha for the next 10,000 years. He lives forever in his books, and his followers live with him. And we have so many videos, so many archives, that you can access him more than in our generation. So many biographies that we can come close, and we can become walking Bhagavatams in the parampara with Prabhupada in the center as the empowered acharya. The most confidential servant of all the Goswamis to come to New York to save me. How he put his body and life on the line every day on behalf of the whole Bhakti Siddhanta and all the acharyas and our parampara and Brahma and Narad Muni and Vedavyas and Madhvacharya and down through Mahaprabhu and Madhavendra Puri and Vishwanath Chakravarti. Prabhupada coming on behalf of Jiva Goswami and Narottam and Raghunath Das Goswami and all the acharyas. And Prabhupada came as their agent to live in New York with drug addicts. and mad, insane, like you see now. You know, the leaders of America and the world. And the people, you know, how they're promoting transgender right now in the Supreme Court of India. All in the name of sex. And what are we doing about it with the cinema? What are we doing about the reformation of the educational institution with Brahmin gurukuls? The real Vedic culture like Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj reinstituted. The real Kshatriya, the real Brahmin teachers, the real Vedic culture. When are we going to get real about our own life and our own commitment to become Krishna's loving, intimate das with Prabhupada, eternally at Prabhupada's feet and his family, that branch of Mahaprabhu tree. There's a branch in Vrindavan, in Golok, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tree, and that's ISKCON. For those who are ready to walk the talk and to go through the different stages of the process. Steady, slow and steady. Win the race every day, to apply ourselves each minute, each day, with our word, thought, and deed, to really work on it. That is bhakti. Fully committed, fully absorbed. That's how I'm still brahmachari. No joke. And I'll never quit, because I have nothing else. Because I can't live like this. I know what it is. Feeling trapped in a nightmare of my own creation. No love, no heart. How can we lose our heart left in Vrindavan? We got to get our heart before we can lose it. Before you can have separation, you have to have attachment. What's the level of our attachment to Prabhupada and Gopal Krishna Maharaj? How much were you fixed with him to assist him? He's conquered death. Like Kadambakana Maharaj, the next generation. How he went back home, back to Godhead. How much am I like that? I told him, you're my golden god brother. I can't relate to you as a disciple of Jayadvaita Maharaj. You may be able to relate like that, but I can't relate to you like that. Because what he is speaks so loudly as a senior god brother to show me the way. To become like that, to become a real disciple of Prabhupada. It's not so cheap that I can be right there, like Gopal Krishna Maharaj, like Lokanath, to be right there, body, mind, and words, 24/7, no matter what politics are there, how to be like a lotus in the midst of it, and to remain a well-wisher of everyone. Isn't it? That's Vaishnava. That's a normal Vaikuntha, healthy soul. So we got to assess our position every day, honestly. Become straightforward and honest with ourselves and with each other. That's the beginning of bhakti. So we got to begin, and not just mechanical. just doing the activities without the feelings. And developing humility, seeing the lack of our feelings. And go on hearing and chanting and giving this to others to become purified so we can realize our natural qualities, our normal, natural qualities in our relationship with Krishna and Prabhupada and you, and even the fly that's buzzing around in the room. As a family, seeing every living being as Krishna Kaparivar, my Parivar, my family. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
I'm just trying. I'm just speaking. When I'm speaking,
That is very much required, Prabhu.
I'm sure. There's one finger I'm pointing at everybody else, but there's three right back on me.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for enlightening us. Shall we conclude here, Prabhu? With your permission.
I still got this fault-finding propensities, but please forgive me.
I'm so no, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। His Grace Akildhar Prabhu की जय।